Hey everybody, it's Joey here again with my Joker review. Todd Phillips directed Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I just got back. Movie pretty intense, pretty severe. Um, I'm still sort of trying to make heads or tails of it. I literally just got back from watching it. Uh, it's there's a lot to be said. I have, just you probably could just already tell, but I have very mixed emotions about this movie. It's not trying to do any favors. um, it is very much a character study into the Joker, into um, whatever psychosis he has, into sort of how I guess society can make somebody mad, or neglectful society can make somebody mad. Uh, Mad as in crazy. I mean, uh, but I'm just gonna. All right, so I'll try to be a little bit more um, uh, concise about this. Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix gave a fantastic performance. He said he had a lot of fun. He's with this character in interviews. He said it a couple times, and it kind of shows. He seemed very immersed without having to go as far as maybe Heath Ledger did. Um, but this Joker seems to be an amalgamation of most Jokers. Almost there in the film, there's sort of little offhand references to Jokers we've seen over the years. There's Cesar Romero Joker. There is some Heath Ledger Joker. A lot of it is um, Joker we've seen in the animated series. A lot of a couple comic references here and there. Um, a lot of dancing, a lot of a lot of dancing in this movie. Joaquin, Joker, Arthur, whatever you want to call him, dances a lot in this movie, and it's very expressive, very carefree, and also calculated, and just sort of it's the dancing, and it's just very prevalent. It's hard to ignore. It's just happening constantly, and is the Joker that comes to mind that is the most dancey Joker is the one from the animated series, the Mark Hamill one. That Joker is very light on his feet and dances a lot. So I feel like the Joker this incarnation took the most from was the animated series Joker. I mean, yeah, it did pay homage to a lot, but the animated series Joker is the one that kind of I saw more in this character. Um, Now, just very brutal. I mean, other Jokers we've seen in films haven't been brutal. I think the most brutal Joker is the animated series Joker, or maybe even the one from the video games, which is more or less the animated series Joker. But this Joker was just there's like this just brutality, this reckless abandon to this Joker, and it really there were some scenes that were just unsettling, especially with the fervor. There was all those sort of stuff going around about potential issues at theaters and stuff, and so that just increased the sort of uneasiness in the film. So take that into account. I felt uneasy because of what was happening there, and the film. There was just very severe points. I'm seeing a lot of reviews. A lot of people are raving about it. Some people are saying it's very surface level stuff. They don't go deep into psyche, and I mean, you don't really have to with a character that's as established as we all know who the Joker is. This movie, I think, plays off of the fact that we all know who the Joker is. We all kind of know his deal. We always got the origin story for Bruce um, becoming Batman, but we got some semblance of an origin story for Joker. I mean, we've on film. I mean, we've gotten versions or supposed versions of an origin story via comic books. The One Bad Day, The Killing Joke was probably one of the more popular versions of a Joker origin story. So we got that. Possibly, there's a lot of I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of dealing with psychosis, with perception, with mental health, with understanding the environment, your impression of society and the people around you, and people's perception of you as well, and how that could be deeply flawed and is flawed amongst a lot of people. Um, it's hard to disseminate all this in sort of a review, especially me coming off of it feeling very strange. It's just been a weird week in general, and this kind of compounded it. This movie is very susceptible to stuff like this, and it felt very strange to me. It felt, it was a good movie. If you want to if I want to kind of just go with a more typical route and say I did think it was a good film. It was just a difficult film. Some people are saying it's very surface level. I could see that. There's a lot of sort of tongue in cheek factor about it, which I think is the point. It is again, a lot of it is about your perception of everything, and the truth. So yeah, I feel like even the film itself is almost very a meta commentary on film, on what film shows, a perception of film, and people that watch film and watch television, and how that perception could be warped by the medium as well. It's just there's a lot of it brings up a lot of interesting stuff. But ultimately the Joker has issues, and he has they talk about some of the issues he might possibly have, sort of medical issues, what was it? I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want this to be a full-on spoiler review for people that haven't seen it. But yeah, there's a little bit of an addressing of mental health, of course, and the way we deal with mental health in this country, or at least we dealt with in the 80s. It's way better now, but this movie takes place in 81, I believe. So yeah, the temperament wasn't what it is now. It's still not perfect now. Maybe in sort of more populated areas, mental health is readily available, but sort of more remote areas of the country, or areas of the country that are less populated, mental health is not. The doctors, the care is not plentiful, and is not backed up financially enough, let's say. So it touched on that in a very big way. I think it very much is sort of a call to mental health. It's a call to mental health awareness. Neglect of those with mental health could have serious repercussions. Maybe not, I was going to say maybe not as severe as the Joker, but we've seen stuff that severe time and time again. Not to go down that road, but it is very apparent that stuff like the mental health is a very big issue, and a lot of times it goes unchecked because people don't know to look for it, or people don't see it, or the resources aren't available. So I think, if anything, this film did a good job of seeing how like on being not giving people resources can have disastrous results ultimately. And then if you have a society that's temperament is unsettled and scared and angry, just compounds it and makes it worse. So other than sort of what the film sort of brought to the table, sort of politically or philosophically, whichever way you want to compartmentalize it, it was good. It was a good film, very stylized in a lot of ways, and it knew when to cut back on that sort of stylization. It was a very beautiful film. And Joaquin again was fantastic. Todd Phillips was great. Todd Phillips did a great job. As you know, some of you might know, I was an extra in the film. Didn't get to see myself. I might have been there for a hair of a second, but I didn't have full on camera time. But it was fun. I liked seeing the film get made. If you go to see the film, I shot the scene very early on where he has the sign, and he's kind of there with the closing, like, clearance sign, and the kids come up and smash his sign and run away. Um, yeah, the pacing of the movie. If I have any gripes with it, the pacing is kind of weird. It kind of lost me in the middle. It felt like it was going on a little bit too long. I think it probably could have been cut down a little bit more. There's some stuff that didn't need to be in it, if you ask me. And again, I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm not going to go into specifics about it, but I think it could be. I think it could have been a lot shorter. But overall, it was very good. Even the stuff that was in there, it made sense, but it wasn't necessary, in my opinion. But I think overall, it was a good film. I would urge you all to see it. I think it could start an interesting conversation, not only about mental health and perception of media and how that the influence of media and sort of the wealthy and the ones in power. Um, but it could also sort of, I mean, one of the bigger sort of arguments I want to, not arguments, ideas I want to have is this is interesting move for the superhero genre of film. Doesn't feel like a superhero; it is a villain. So I wonder how they could do something like this with a superhero, without making the superhero seem just absolutely tragic and um, another person that has been shot down on his luck. I mean, obviously there is Thomas Wayne and Bruce in the film, so there is allusion that to a Batman. Uh, Nothing with a Batman in particular, but there's definitely illusion, and there's a lot of parallels with this Joker and Batman. Pretty straight, more than we usually see. Joker and Bruce, or Arthur and Bruce. Um, Very interesting. I'd like to open this up to a bigger conversation for those of you that are watching this live or watching this after the fact. What character could you see in a film like this? I feel like obvious answer is Batman. Um, he's already a fairly brooding and dark character, but the dichotomy is interesting. You see two characters that dealt with severe trauma and deal with it very differently. Obviously, one is very rich and one is very poor, and one has nobody to turn to, and one has at least one to turn to, and maybe that's just enough for people. Maybe you just needed one person to hear you out and to be there for you. Uh, Very interesting. It's there's some stuff about the film that I wasn't crazy about. Maybe that's okay. I don't have to like everything about the film. It doesn't have to make me feel 100%. It could make me question uh, my own feelings about it. That's totally fine. I don't need this movie to be perfect for me. Um, but yeah, I'm curious what this is going to open up, because despite what critics say, I think it is interesting for the genre, for people that do like superhero movies, for people that have been watching these characters, or reading about these characters for their whole lives, like myself and like many of you that watch these videos. These characters are important, the bad ones as well as the good ones. So it'd be very interesting to see which heroes get this treatment next. This sort of Scorsese dark, strange treatment. I don't even want to call it dark. It just feels very visceral in a way. So I'm gonna leave it there. I know this wasn't a jam-packed interview, but I kind of feel a little strange after watching it. I don't know if you could tell. I feel very weird, just because the temperament of the theater, sort of, it just felt weird with all that stuff, all the stuff that's going on around that film. And then the film itself is just kind of unsettling. So things are just compounded in the viewing. So it's just I feel I kind of don't know what the film made me feel, and what the temperament of the film around the film is also that influence as well. So I feel a little emotionally manipulated by the whole situation. So I can't give you a clear answer. Maybe in a couple days I could do a follow-up review where I feel a little bit more logical, and I could sort of give a more spoiler review and go into sort of the theories I have about the character in the film and where it might take place and what it could lead to. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more videos and a potential follow-up. Thank you guys for watching, those of you that are watching live, and I shall see you very soon. See you later.